All right, this is the chapter 9.3, the trigonometric functions of any angle. So let's get started with number 4. So number 4, they give you the x equals to 5 and the y is equal to negative 12. All you need to do is go ahead and solve for the radius first. So using the Pythagorean theorem, you got 5 squared plus negative 12 squared. And this is one of the triples. So, well, this is going to equal to r squared. And if I just use the traditional method to solve it, this is going to be 25 plus 144 equals to r squared. So that's 169 equals to r squared. So your radius, r, is always going to be a positive number, which equals to square root both sides, 13. But I did tell you guys that this is one of the triples. So if it's a 5 and there's a 12 for the x and y, your radius is going to be 13. Okay, so we got that. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and find out the 6 trig functions, starting with the sine. So you are going to have y over r, which is going to be negative 12 over 13. Okay, so the next one, cosine, you're going to have x, which is 5, over r. For the tangent, you're going to use the y over x. So you're going to have negative 12 over 5. All right, so for the cosecant, now it's just going to be flipping the fraction. So just go ahead and flip it. You have 13 over negative 12, but you can write it as negative 13 over 12. And the next one is going to be flipping it. So it's going to be 13 over 5. For the cotangent, it's going to be negative 5 over 12. All right, so let's check out number 8. So number 8, you are pretty much doing the same thing. We have the x equals to 1 and y equals to negative 2. So you have 1 squared plus square of negative 2. This is going to equal to r squared. Okay, so we have 1 plus 4 equals to r squared. So that's 5. Okay, and then square root both sides, you have r equals to square root of 5. So first one, we are looking for sine theta. So sine theta is going to be negative 2 over square root of 5. Okay, but we cannot write this expression. We have to rationalize this, so we have to multiply by rad 5 over rad 5. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is go ahead and rationalize it for you, and this is going to equal to negative 2 square root of 5 over 5. Okay, all right, so let's check out the next one, cosine theta. So we can just go ahead and use 1 to divide it by square root of 5, and if you rationalize it, so rad 5 over rad 5, this is going to give you rad 5 over 5. The next one, tangent. So you just use y over x, so you got negative 2 over 1, so you can just write it as negative 2. So now all we need to do is go ahead and flip the fractions. Well, if you flip the fraction of what you found from the sine theta, you're going to have to rationalize it one more time. So might as well just go ahead and understand that cosecant is r over y. So you're going to use r, which is rad 5, over y, which is negative 2. Okay, you can put the negative 2 on the, you can put the negative sign on the bottom. It doesn't really matter. Next one, the secant, you're going to have to use r over x, which is square root of 5 over 1. Okay, so you can just rewrite it as square root of 5. Now the last one, this is x over y, so x is 1 over y is negative 2, so negative 1/2. All right, for the next one, So what we're doing here is that we had to figure out when theta is 540, and you had to write down all 6 trig functions. So first thing I want to do is understand that starting from the initial side, if you go counterclockwise for a full circle, that's going to be 360. Okay? In order to get to 540, you can use 540 to subtract 360, which means that if you go one full circle, you need to go 180 degrees more. So you have to go half a circle on the second counterclockwise rotation. So that's going to add up to 540. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and show you the terminal side, is that blue one right here. All right, so now we got the terminal side, and we want to figure out that what is going to be the x and y here. Okay, so understand that if it's on one of the axes, you understand that your x, you can just make it into -1, and your y is going to be 0 here. All right, so if x is equal to, let me erase this. So if x is equal to -1, you're going to have to figure out what the r is. It's actually really easy, but I'm going to do the calculation for you guys. So square of -1 plus 0 squared equals to r squared, and it's going to be 1 equals to r squared, so r is going to equal to 1. Okay, so we got the x and the y and the r. Well, let me use a different color. The r is going to be right here. It's going to be 1. Okay, so now let's get started with the trig functions. For the sine theta, you want to use y over r, which is going to be 0 over 1. And 0 divided by 1, that's going to be 0. For cosine, you want to use -1, well, this is x over 1, right? So x over r, so -1 over 1, so that's just going to be -1. The next one is the tangent, so you want to use the y over x, so it's going to be 0 over -1, and that's going to be 0. Say, put 0 there. And the next one, we have a cosecant. You know, cosecant is r over y, so it's going to be 1 over 0. Anything divided by 0 is going to be undefined, so you're going to put undefined. I just put u and d, you know. All right, so the next one, you have x over r. X is -1 over r is 1, so this one is also going to be -1. For the last one, you got the x over y, so you're going to get -1 over 0, and that's also going to be undefined. All right, so let's check out number 14. Number 14 looks like it's a similar type of question. This time we got the pi, which is, you know, that's 180 degrees. And then if you multiply by -2, this is whole thing's going to come out to be -360. So which means that we're going to go clockwise 360. This is my initial side, and you go -360, which is clockwise. You're going to end up on the initial side. Okay, so which means that this is going to be your terminal side. Okay, since this is on the positive x-axis, you can just go ahead and label this as 1, 0. Okay, in this case, this is unit circle, which means that your radius is going to be in 1 unit. So radius is 1. You don't have to do the calculation every time. Okay, so now we know that the x is 1 and the y is 0 and r is 1. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the 6 trig functions. For sine, you want to start with y over r, so that's going to be 0 over 1, which is going to be 0. Okay, so let me just go ahead and erase that, and I'll erase the rest as well. So it's going to be 0. For cosine, you have 1 over 1, so you just go ahead and put 1. And for the tangent, you have y over x, so 0 divided by 1, that's going to be 0. For the cosecant, you have to use the r, which is 1, over y, which is 0, and that's going to give you undefined. For secant, you have to use r over x, that's going to be 1 over 1, so that's still going to be just equal to 1. Now the last one, we have the cotangent. You're going to have to use the x, which is 1 over y, and divide by 0, that's going to be another undefined. All right, let's check out number 16. So number 16, what they're trying to ask you to do is go ahead and draw 150 degrees and find its reference angle. So first, let's see how 150 degree looks like. Starting from the initial side, okay, you're going to have to pass the first quadrant. That's going to give you 90 degrees. But we are looking at 150, so you have to use 150 to subtract 90, and that means in the second quadrant, starting from the positive y-axis, we have to go 60 degrees more towards the negative x-axis. Okay, so you're gonna go 60 degrees more. Okay, so now we're gonna end up having our terminal side right here. Analyzing one thing is that you are getting 90 degrees in each quadrant. Okay, this is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees, 90, and 90. Okay, so let's just focus on the quadrant 2. So this is 90 degrees, and I already have gone 60 degrees, which means that I have 30 degrees left. Okay, if this is your terminal side, and you know that reference angle is going to be the angle between the terminal side and the x-axis. Okay, so which means that your reference angle is 30 degrees. Okay, that's a 30, my bad. All right, so let's check out the next one. So negative 370 degrees. So first, let's check out the direction. This is negative, which means that we're going clockwise. Okay, so you want to go full circle for 360. Okay, this is actually negative 360, and you have a negative 370, which means that you have to go 10 more. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot out our terminal side. Okay, so this is basically just 10 degrees here, and that's your reference angle. And we're gonna just say reference angle is 10 degrees. Let's check out number 20 and 22. So for number 20, what you need to do first is understand that this is in radians, and we're gonna be doing the same thing, figuring out the reference angle. If you feel like the radians are difficult for you to graph, you can just go ahead and convert that to degrees. So what I would do is I go 8 times, you know that pi is basically saying 180, and you're going to divide it by 3. Okay, so 180 divided by 3, it's going to be 60. So you're going to simplify to 60, and 60 times 8, it's 480 degrees. So you have to travel 840 degrees counterclockwise. Start with the initial side. You're going to go full circle. Okay, this is 360, but we need to go do some subtraction and know that we need to travel counterclockwise for 120 degrees more. So 120 degrees on the second rotation. passing through the quadrant 1, that's 90. And we need to, that's subtract 90. Okay? And then we need to go 30 degrees more. Okay? So now let's draw the terminal side. Okay? So which means that we pass 30 degrees on second quadrant. We have 60 degrees left from the second quadrant, and that would be your reference angle. So I'll just put reference angle 60 degrees. Let's check out the last one. Basically, what you need to do first is go ahead and use do the same thing for the radians. You can use negative 13 times 180 and then divided by 6 and see what you get. Okay, so we know that 180 divided by 6, we can simplify to just 30. 30 times negative 13, it's going to be negative 390. Okay, so we are looking to do negative 390. Let me erase that so I can get more space. So negative 390. So we have to go clockwise this time. So you want to go the full circle. Okay, this is giving you 360, and we need to do negative 30 degrees more. So we have to go clockwise 30 degrees more. Okay, so this is going to be your terminal side, and that extra negative 30 degrees that we drew on the second rotation, it's going to be your reference angle. So this is your reference angle right there. It's 30 degrees. All right.